Welcome to Galcom's Mission Compass podcast. To learn more about Galcom and our guests today, visit galcom.org.
The Bible declares He sees and makes known the end from the beginning. God not only holds this year, but He holds you securely.
Hello, friend. Welcome to Galcom's Mission Compass, your guide to the Great Commission. I'm Ron Harris. And before our host, Tim Whitehead, tells us about someone who is living out the Great Commission, I believe you have a special request for us to pray about.
Well, thank you, Ron, for this chance to ask our friend listening to pray. It's great. We're starting the new year off talking about praying. We depend on God for everything here at Galcom, and so it's appropriate that we start our year asking for prayer. If you've been listening at all this year, you've heard me come on whenever Ron's giving me the chance for a prayer request. I talk about the inventory needs here we have at Galcom, trying to get the microchips and the other parts in to make our radios, and of course, shipping things out, more red tape, more logistical problems. You wouldn't believe this. Well, maybe you would if you got lots of faith. We're going to make more radios this year than any other previous year. It's absolutely a remarkable miracle of God. And we're going to make over 80,000 solar-powered fixed-tune radios for our partners around the world with audio Bibles in local languages. It's a miracle. But we do need prayer shipping them out. There's fewer flights, there's more red tape, there's more paperwork, more logistics. So please be praying that we can get some of these orders out to kick off 2023 off with a bang, getting some radios out to South Sudan, West Africa, Ukraine, Indonesia, and so on. So please be praying for us. You know, we start every workday here at Galcom in prayer, praying for each other, praying for our ministry partners around the world. Friend, I want to pray for you right now. Father, I just want to thank you for our friend listening right now. They've been supporting the ministry, encouraging us, praying for us, maybe even financially giving. Lord, I pray that as we start out this new year, that you would bless them, that you would meet their needs, that you would encourage them in their faith, make them a witness and an influence in their community, in their family. Lord, physical needs, Lord, bring healing and strength. Material needs, Lord, give them enough, give them their daily bread. And so that, Lord, they can be generous and kind and sharing with others. Lord, we pray this blessing in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you, Tim. You can be updated on Galcom's daily prayer needs. Just visit our website, galcom.org. And now, Tim, what do you have for us?
Well, thank you for joining us again this week on the Mission Compass. It is our goal to get you plugged in somehow, some way to the Great Commission. And to that end, Mark Kroes, Executive Director of OMS Canada, One Mission Society, has joined us to share where they are serving. Mark, great to have you back on the program. It's actually been almost exactly a year. We had you back on the program here last December, sharing again opportunities to serve God in the Great Commission.
Great. Thanks, Tim. We're grateful for any opportunity to share the needs of the nations.
And those needs are great. Just before we hit the record button, we got talking down, maybe not a rabbit trail. We're going up a mountain on this one. This is a big issue. The need for people to say yes to the Great Commission. And you found that there's not as many people obeying Christ's last command.
No. I mean, and it's not just OMS Canada that's facing this. It's virtually every mission agency in Canada that is challenged in finding new workers who are willing to leave the comforts of home and to carry the good news to the nations. On the UN estimated that on November 15th, the population of the world now exceeds 8 billion people. And what many of us do not realize is that there are still a third of us on the earth who have never heard the gospel. They have no idea that their Creator sent His only Son to pay the penalty for their sins so that they can enjoy a relationship with Him. And that's the good news that the world needs to hear.
And you mentioned we've cracked 8 billion, and the most of that growth is in countries where the people groups are unreached. Never mind not hearing about Jesus, they probably have never met a Christian. We desperately need to go. We need to go and bear witness to this wonderful relationship we have with Jesus Christ. But off air, we were just chatting. Many people misunderstand calling. We say, oh, God hasn't called me to go to India, Nepal as a missionary. So what do you say to someone that says, oh, God hasn't told me to go?
There are two things that I would say to someone who says, I'm not called to be a missionary. Number one, Matthew chapter 28, verse 19 and 20, where Jesus gives us the Great Commission. He says, go therefore and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit, and teaching them to obey everything that I have commanded you. And that includes the command contained in the Great Commission. What other command is there in Scripture that a Christian can choose not to obey by saying, I don't have to obey that because God hasn't called me?
I don't know one. No.
There's not another command in Scripture where we can do that. And so we need to realize it is a command to be obeyed. The other thing I would say about missionary calling is in the case of Isaiah, I think it's Isaiah chapter 5, where Isaiah hears the Father and the Son saying, who will go for us? Who can we send? And Isaiah overhears this need and says, I'll volunteer. Choose me.
What a great attitude.
Yeah.
It's my opinion that most Christians aren't doing this out of overt defiance to God. It's not like he makes the command and we're like, no, I refuse God. I have a feeling as I've met people, there's a lot of feeling of misunderstanding what a missionary is and what's involved, and also inadequacy.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've asked you if you could present some opportunities for people to serve with OMS, because I think when we hear the opportunities, I think a lot of people will say, wow, maybe I am qualified to be a missionary. So share what you got maybe midterm first. So not like I've made my commitment, the old missionaries of old packing their stuff in a coffin because they know they're never coming home, but some opportunities for people to say, okay, I know that the Bible says I'm supposed to serve. I'm not sure how. Can I try this out? So what does OMS offer?
So in terms of midterm opportunities, these range from a 1 month to 12-month commitment. Just three very specific examples. In Ecuador, they're looking for interns to do children's ministry, a youth ministry, tutoring for ESL, everybody who wants to learn English, music ministry, and art and design. So if you're an arts major, you're looking for an internship, we can send you to Ecuador to work in the field that you're being trained for, but also to expose you to the work that missionaries are doing on the field right now.
Exactly.
So that's one field where there are opportunities. You may be interested in sports. Football, not American football, soccer, is enjoyed around the world. And there is an opportunity in Mexico for sports ministry, specifically working in the area of soccer. And then the other midterm opportunity that I'm going to talk about is prison ministry in Colombia. They are looking specifically for interns who will help to develop a program for children and youth of inmates. So these kids, either they've got one or both parents serving prison sentences. And the prison ministry sees outreach to these kids as an opportunity to impact not only the kids themselves, but their parents as well.
Wow. So sports, English, arts, not what you kind of think of, missionary Bible translator, evangelist. These are really practical things. And then kids ministry. So if you've done any type of EA work or maybe you've trained to do some teaching work, and as you said, 1 month to 12 months, maybe you're a recent university graduate and you haven't found your legs, you're not quite sure about vocation, call Mark at OMS. All right, what about long term? Okay, so someone says, okay, I'm at a stage in my life, I can serve. I know I'm supposed to serve. I just don't know where to start. So what opportunities are available?
Okay, so one of the things that we are very aware of is the possibility of transferable skills. So say you are completing a career or nearing completion of a career, but you're not aware that the skills that you have are needed in missions. So I've got 3 long-term opportunities where transferable skills are very important. One, our team in Hungary is developing a preschool. Business as Mission. It's a preschool, and they're looking for a preschool program specialist. This individual will manage and organize the teachers in regard to curriculum, lesson planning, training, and scheduling. You will work with students, teachers, and parents regularly and facilitate communication between parents and teachers. So there is this opportunity to develop this preschool program in Hungary.
So we're looking like for a retired school principal.
Absolutely. Yeah. Or someone who's worked in administration on a school board.
Perfect. Yeah.
And if you're not sure if you're qualified, give me a call. We'll talk about it.
Perfect. Great.
So that's one. The second one is a media and communication specialist. It's a regional hub role based in Ecuador. The media and communication specialist will capture what God is doing through OMS in Colombia, Ecuador, and Mexico to create excellent and impactful media for OMS missionaries. Photography, videography, graphic design, and writing are key elements for this opportunity. So you may be wanting to be a social media influencer. This is an opportunity for that kind of person to get involved in missions.
And I tell you, from Galcom's perspective, we get a team, we build a radio station somewhere, and the guys come back, we're like, did you take pictures? And they're like, we were busy, we're putting up a tower and a thing. So the missionaries are doing the work, but the story needs to be told or people won't give. And that's reality in mission agencies. If we're not telling what God is doing somewhere, people go, well, what's happening? And the missionaries are so busy working with the kids, running the soccer programs, doing the prison ministry. Someone's got to tell the story. What a great opportunity for someone who got some photography skills, got some writing skills. Great. All right. You got one more?
Yeah, one more. Business as Mission is a platform that many organizations are using in order to mobilize workers to creative access nations. So these are nations that are closed to the gospel. They're not closed to foreign workers, but they are closed to the gospel. So you cannot get a visa to do traditional mission work in these countries, but you can go there and establish a business. And so in these countries, you have the opportunity to run a profitable and sustainable business with the purpose of impacting people and nations economically and spiritually. The idea is that you hire local workers and you influence those local workers in your place of business with the understanding that you hope to plant a church in your business.
Incredible. And once again, Galcom started. One of our founders did that in Tiberias, Israel. Ken Crowell, Galtronics Manufacturing, making cell phone antennas, hired Jews and Arabs. There is now a church there, Peniel Fellowship, that's 500-600 people strong. So part of our DNA here at Galcom is that business as mission. And you equip everybody, all of the kind of the sensitivities of the cross-cultural work and everything like that.
Yeah.
All of that training is done by OMS. So
absolutely.
I think we've just removed all the excuses. I expect a flood of phone calls to OMS. How does someone contact you, Mark, if they'd say, you know what, I got to obey God's command. Now I got to take the next step.
The easiest way to get a hold of me is to give me a call or send me a text or a WhatsApp or Signal, whatever. The number is 519-313-3314. That's 519-313-3314. Shoot me a text, give me a phone call, and we'll talk.
And friends, if you are driving, you didn't get a pen, you just find our website at the end. We will have this information for you to get a hold of Mark. Mark, we love OMS. We've partnered with you in all sorts of places around the world. Friends, obey the Great Commission, and your life will be transformed and changed, and the fulfillment. And as Mark and I are chatting off air, once you die to self, now you truly live. Mm-hmm. When you start serving God, it's the true life. OMS, if you want to check out their website and Google them, just Google One Mission Society. You can find them in Canada, the U.S., actually all over the world. They got sending agencies. Mark, always great to visit with you. We're praying that you'll get a call, even this week, starting off the new year, someone saying, yes, I want to serve God. Thanks, Mark.
All right. Thanks, Tim.
Standing on the runway of a brand new year, there's a lot that we can't see, like what the year holds for us or for our crazy world. When we can't see, it's time to go back to what we know. I'm Bonnie Sala with Reset. In the song Known Only to Him, Elvis Presley once sang, "I know not what the future holds, but I know who holds the future." The first thing that we can be sure of in this bright new year is that the God of the Bible says, "I do know. I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end." And the Bible declares He sees and makes known the end from the beginning. God not only holds this year, but He holds you securely. Job said, "He knows the way that I take." And David praised God, saying, "You, Lord, are all I have, and you give me all I need. My future is in your hands." No, we can't see the future. So now is a good time to remind ourselves what we know about the God who holds us from Scripture. Here are 4 important things that we know about God and His character. We know that in all things He works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose. We know that He is not a man, and He cannot lie. We know that His love never ends. And we know that He will be our refuge and comfort. This year, when you can't see, go back to what you know. I'm Bonnie Sala with Reset. For scripture references, to hear this again, read or share this, or to find more resources like this, visit guidelines.org.
We're speaking with Jeremy Doorten, Canadian Director of E3 Partners. Just shared with us some incredible stories of what God did over those pandemic years when we couldn't get the boots on the ground. But Jeremy, and great, the focus in country too. And we faced that at GalCom. We couldn't travel around the world building radio stations. We focused on our First Nations communities. We focused on Quebec, one of North America's, if not North America's largest unreached people group, 8 million people, less than 1% evangelical Christians. What are you guys doing there in Quebec? Let's bring the focus from the world back here to our back door, as you called it, our backyard.
Yeah, absolutely. It was just such a glorious inconvenience, this whole COVID break. But at the same time, it was so awesome because it allowed us to pause on so much of this international work, and it gave us a chance to relook at what we were doing in Canada. It's not that we weren't doing it before, but it gave us a fresh set of eyes to say, what is going on here? What can we do? So in particular in Quebec, man, it was 13 years ago when I left my pastorate. My wife was dying. She was given 3 months to live. I moved back to Southern Ontario to be with family. And I meet somebody who says, hey, you got to start this thing called E3 in Canada. And God gave us the vision. God healed my wife. And we came to Southern Ontario. And it's like, here we are. And we started asking God, where should we serve? Like, what do you have for Canada? And God gave us similar to things that you just mentioned. One, He gave us a passion for, let's raise up leaders to serve the Indigenous communities of Canada. Let's start praying for somebody to raise up and champion the work in French Canada, which I won't be able to do as an Anglophone, although I do have some French, but it's terrible. And then what about the urban city centers and the diaspora peoples coming from all over the world? Those were 3 core areas. And God gave us a leader in French Canada named Jean-François Moquin. And he's off in Paris right now doing some work internationally. But what he ended up launching is I Am Second in French. He called it Je suis deuxième. And they went on to produce 22 French language films that are stylized a lot like I Am Second films. So if you're new to hearing this, iamsecond.com, you got to check it out. You might get confused now. Wait, you're E3, you're I Am Second. Well, the answer, you're Je suis deuxième. The answer is yes. We're actually all of them. So our organization is called E3 Partners. I lead what we call E3 Ministry Canada, essentially our franchise in Canada, if you would, our mission in Canada. But we started this viral video series out of Plano, Texas, about 13 years ago when I was starting to launch E3 Canada. And these videos are just really raw, gritty testimonies or stories of somebody whose life was transformed. They might have gone through alcoholism or abuse or addictions. We have former prostitutes on our site. We've got rock stars. We've got NASCAR drivers, football players, baseball players, hockey players, even Mike Fisher, a good Canadian name. And these people, they sit down and they give this raw avant-garde testimony of, this is my life. This is what I went through. But I met Christ. Now He's first. I place Him first. And I take the position of being second. Yeah. And so we saw the opportunity to reproduce this in French Canada. man, like 30,000 believers amongst 8 million people. We have to do something. So we've now filmed 22 French language I Am Second style films, and 3 million views have been garnered in a population of only 8 million people. Like, that's, dare I say, miraculous. It's astounding. There's nothing else in terms of French media that we know of, particularly even French Christian media, that's pulled in those kind of numbers. So we just give glory to God.
This is great. We see these parallels between our ministries, Galcom doing the radio stuff, you guys doing media, you're doing equipping, the same, got to take care of our backyard, got to reach out around the world. And now this is the part of the program everybody's waiting for, where I start to say, okay, how do people now get involved? We've sat down a number of times and you've gone over how you train people, how you equip, sorry, to use the right, I got to use the E's, how you equip people to evangelize. And it's a wonderful thing. And so anyone that says, oh, I don't know how to share my faith, I could never do the Great Commission because it says I got to make disciples, I don't know how. You guys do that. You equip people. It's such a great teaching program. So if someone's sitting there saying, you know, I should be serving in my backyard to somebody, or I should go overseas, how do they get in touch with you? What's the opportunities people can get involved with now?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, we've got trainings that are happening all the time, all across Canada. At any point in time, feel free to shoot an email. It'll come right to my desk, info@e3, so letter E, number 3, e3ministry.ca, info@e3ministry.ca, or you can go to our website and check it out there as well. But the reality is this, everything that we train, it's going to be super, super simple tools. We're going to teach you how to articulate your own testimony in 15 to 30 seconds. Your listeners are like, what?
I thought I was waiting for minutes, but seconds, okay.
A 15-second testimony. Let me share my testimony for your listeners right now.
Please.
We start out this way. We say, there was a time in my life when, and then we give a couple of words that describe my life before coming to know Christ. How did I hear about Jesus, or what happened? And then what result has this had in my life? And then we put the conversation back to the other person. So I'm walking through the Sobeys grocery store. Some interaction happens. Somebody drops a stack of bananas. We pick it up. We start getting chatting. And I see the opportunity and just say, hey, I just sense I'm supposed to tell you this, that there was a time in my life where I was really angry and I was really frustrated all the time because of a lot of stuff going on in my home. But then I went to a summer camp and I heard that Jesus died for me. And I decided to follow him. And God's taken that anger and frustration and replaced it with a lot of joy and a lot of passion. And I love telling people about Jesus. And then I'll look at them and say, do you have a story of faith, or what's your journey? And you will be amazed, Tim. People all over the place are willing to engage in conversations. We put up so many barriers because of our own fears or insecurities or things like that. I'm not this, I'm not good enough. Oh, goodness, I am a child of God. I am equipped. I am able to open my mouth. I do have the good news in me. So we just share simple tools like how to share a 15-second testimony. We've got a really rudimentary little hand drawing, 3 circles we call it, and we can show people how to articulate the gospel, the good news of Jesus, God's design for our life. And then we talk about the brokenness in the world, and then essentially the antidote, and that is Jesus Christ. And quite honestly, we've trained 90-year-olds, we've trained 9-year-olds, and we've seen everybody in between have incredible success with sharing their faith. And so that's a great starting point. You can come to one of our trainings and get the tools, or you can join us. Like Hamilton, we've got a group that we connect with called Love on Hamilton. We've got on average between 21 to 25 people per night, every Tuesday night, hitting the streets in Hamilton. We hand out some sandwiches, and we hope to get to sharing a 15-second testimony. Maybe we'll get to the gospel. We'll pray over people. We'll ask God to heal them and touch their minds. And we just see remarkable things. It's happening in Waterloo. It's happening out west in Saskatchewan, out in Nanaimo, BC, all the way out to Brickton, Nova Scotia. There's groups meeting all over the country.
I started with Hamilton because I think he's talking to me. He wants me to get there on Tuesday nights. Maybe I better get going.
I think you should try.
We're out of time. Really quick, give out the U.S. website as well as the Canadian website.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Canadian website, e3ministry.ca. And then if you want to see the broader website with our parent organization, e3partners.org. And one of the good reasons to check out the American site is some of the restrictions lifted a little earlier, and they were maybe a little less severe for Americans. And Canada had kind of languished a while. So the Americans are ahead of us. So right now they've got trips, short-term trips going around the world. If you want to try these same tools overseas, We got locations posted on the American site. We got trips going to Ethiopia, Colombia, Uganda, South Africa, Dominican Republic, Philippines, Paraguay, Romania, all over the world.
E3 Partners, and hey, if you're on YouTube, just put in the search bar, I Am Second. Jeremy, great to have you with us here on the Mission Compass.
Thank you so much. Great to be with you.
Well, friend, we're at the end of our program today, and you've been listening to Galcom's Mission Compass, your guide to the Great Commission. There are many ways to partner with us. To find out more, visit our website at galcom.org. That's Galcom, spelled GALCOM.org. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube. I'm Ron Harris. Thanks for joining us today on Mission Compass, a radio ministry of Galcom International.
If you enjoyed this podcast, we upload a new episode every Monday. You can also find us on the radio or other streaming platforms. We have a list on our website. Make sure to subscribe, follow, and share our podcast. Please rate this episode and leave a review. We would love to hear back from you. And we also want to know where you're listening from. So click Mission Compass on our website, tell us, and we'll send you Galcom's devotional, 30 Days of Faith.